What are you drinking tonight?
I'm
Bud Light.
Cheladas. I was going to get the Modelo's, but they were out of the Modelo's.
Okay, what is that? I don't know what that is.
So it's basically it's Bud Light plus Clamato juice.
Oh, great!
It's a very like Mexican thing. And then this one has got the Tajin. If you could say it.
Yep, I see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the seasoning, like that peppery, limey stuff. So it's not bad. I have another one that's got like it's called Fuego.
So you're back to Bud Light.
I only got this because Modelo was out. They had the tomato Modelo was out, but they had like this lime, and then they had like pineapple Modelo, and I'm like, I don't want that. But that one was sold out. All the rest of them were just like fully stocked. This is like, okay. And I've only seen the Modelos and like the tall boys.
I'm drinking a Montucky Cold Snack.
Interesting.
But they're it's an independent company apparently. I was curious who owns it, but Chad Zeitner owns it. That's it. There's no parent company. What a Chad.
Is it a beer that's worthy of a Chad?
It's a good. I like the can. It's kind of got a nice little look to it.
Almost like retrowave type of feel.
Yeah. It's got that kind of. It's almost like 70s, 80s retro wave.
Because that's what everyone does. That's what always happens. It's never me. I'm never good enough.
It's just a little session pilsner, fairly light. I was curious because this isn't marketed as a light beer, but it's only 104 calories per can, which is close to Bud Light. Miller Lite's like 97 calories.
Yeah, but with a little bit more substance, I'd imagine, to it, as opposed to just like the swell.
This is pretty solid.
This is pretty swilly. We're Catholics, so it's like, come on. I mean, hey man, you got that document. Says you got baptism.
I've explained this to people before. I'm like, I'm Catholic in everything besides actually believing in God.
But you know
that's where I draw the line.
Considering how much you drink, you're so much closer to him. As he takes a sip.
Speaking of drinking a bunch of beer, Alex.
Yes.
You were telling me about Penn State recently.
Yeah, so Penn State, I don't know if a lot of people know about this thing, but it's football season, college football season, professional football season.
Boo.
I know.
Cubs lost. Again.
See you next April. So we, in college football, you have a lot of weird, goofy collegiate traditions, hopefully still to this day, before they become so, tame and neutered and stuff like that. Well, Penn State has this, I don't know what you would call it, installation contraption.
It's like an art exhibit.
Bullshit. Derivative. That I absolutely love.
This thing that's referred to as the Cocktagon. And there's no actual kind of cocks involved in a sense, but it's more of a multifaceted communal urinal porta potty. And I'm trying to do the best job I can to describe it because it's more like you have to see it.
I've got pictures.
Okay, so they have these things, which everybody's probably used a porta potty if you've gone to someplace like, Bonnaroo, summer camp, Coachella, Lollapalooza, or County Fair. You got a porta potty, right?
Porta potties have actually made it more. It's better to pee on a tree than to use any of these things.
Yes, because you don't smell what goes on the tree. So these multifaceted, multi-walled Cockatgons are basically, they're only utilized for urination. They don't have like a seat or anything like it, like a regular porta potty.
As God intended.
Yeah. So what it is that they're kind of open, and you just walk in, and you pick one of the urinal little bassinets, I would guess you would call it, and you pee in it, and everybody's back to back. So it's like you take like, if you go to like a yeah, basically right there, it's like you're taking the wall of urinals and you're kind of folding it into itself. Now, granted, if you're a dude and you need to pee pretty badly, you just honestly don't care. You just need to go and pee someplace. And if you know, these guys are there with a couple of the bros, it's, we're heading into the, fourth quarter of the game, against Minnesota. Penn State's up by, a touchdown.
Peeing with the bros,
peeing with the bros, man. I mean, you join the fraternity. What do you think's going to happen? Or you could be like me and be like, I'm not paying the $400 per year to do this stupidity. I can buy my own beer. Thank you very much. And I'd rather also smoke just cigarettes rather than weed all the time. So
weed sucks.
Yes,
not a fan.
I don't know any place I can go on campus now where it does not smell like weed.
I'd rather smoke crack than smoke weed.
You
probably have a better time on crack cocaine.
Well, you live in Chicago, Brendan, so
you're easily accomplished.
Very easily. I got enough contact highs at the Pumpkins concert to last me for the rest of my life. And I think it might have been like, I don't want to get into kids running around too.
We'll talk about pot some other time. I don't. This is a whole other separate topic.
But yeah.
But so the Cocktagon.
The Cocktagon is a fascinating concept, and I feel like it speaks backwards to mankind as it was developing engineering over the eras, going from the wheel to the pyramid, the aqueducts, which are one of my favorite engineering feats of mankind,
flying
terrace farming, the cathedral with David Macaulay. Yeah, the flying buttresses.
Didn't we get drunk and try to watch that when I was at your place?
We did.
Am I remembering this properly?
We're like, God, this is so good. And then we were just like, this chick's pretty hot. You banged her.
One of the things that makes them different from castles and pyramids and ancient Roman cities is that after 700 years, the great Gothic cathedrals are still in use.
And for their original purpose.
Do you think David Macaulay slept with his co-star on this one?
I would have.
I thought it was his wife. I just assumed they were an item.
He's a lucky man.
They had a thing going on. They had some chemistry, as they say.
Anyways, but yeah. So if you're ever there in Happy Valley, as they call it, at a college station at Penn State, and you're there maybe for a road trip, supporting your local team there from maybe Michigan or Rutgers, I hopefully you take advantage of the Cocktagon. If not, then maybe the Cocktagon will eventually come to your college town, and you'll be able to enjoy it yourself, or you and your fellow fraternity bros can just build your own Cocktagon.
Well, I think that somebody actually did try to build their own Cocktagon based on, what is this
5
image?
Men enter, all men pee.
What is this image I'm looking at? Cocktagon looking hella classy. Oh, so this is actually another picture of the one of the actual Cocktagons at Penn State. At least they put up like a little modesty tarp and stuff.
Those are some heavy duty bases for that sheath. Like, wow. Oh, okay. And then we have that.
All right. Anyway, what I was going to get to was that while I was looking through this,
there's Pop-Tarts.
The first result on this is Penn State to introduce female Cocktagons during 2023.
Ooh. Oh, I like to see what the inside looks like while they're being used.
They would all be looking at each other. It'd be like a Roman toilet situation, where they were just like all staring at each other.
What about the side-by-side seat that Penn and Teller had on Bullshit?
Oh.
That would be it. So you could like stare at your like
Stare at you.
girlfriend and like hold her hand and be like, "Oh my god, did you hear the new Taylor Swift song?"
Well,
totally speaks to me.
based on the design in this photo, it would all just
Of course, it's pink.
They would all just be looking at each other. However, this is how misinformation spreads. So I just put Cocktagon Penn State. I just want to say that would this be called a LabiaCon or it's like I want a ticket to LabiaCon, please.
LabiaCon
And then it's just like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. Anyway, so you think this is actually a real thing? If you just look at this,
I'm guessing somebody just photoshopped the blue to pink, right?
April Fools.
Okay.
But so
this still should happen.
The very first result.
I mean that
is bullshit.
The woman's square is way too bright for the rest of the I would so love to see what it looks like if it was real.
I put more effort into integrating the Star Wars footage into this Silent Hill clip in the previous episode than they
Good
did.
Episode, by the way. Good, like the half episode, like I was telling you earlier today.
It really came together. It's just like, imagine like what being relatively sober does to
I know.
this show. It's like, yeah, my bad.
It was fun though, because you just kind of like the original uncut footage, and when we did that previously, you just kind of like you just kept on like shriveling into your chair. You were turning like Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I was falling asleep.
Junji Ito is sort of, I guess in a weird way, I would say he's the H.R. Giger of Japan, but in the manga sense.
Anyways. Yeah, head on down to Penn State and send us some pics of yourselves peeing at the
Contact the Culture Doom. We'll post it.
I think that I would have...
We won't tell your mom and dad about it, though.
The only way that this works out well for me is that if I mean, realistically, it's not that different than a normal peeing experience in a men's room. It's really not that different.
We've had some fun peeing experiences. The one at Wrigley, the trough.
Yeah, the trough, that's always an adventure. And I guess if you can pee in a trough, then you can pee anywhere. I always, like I mentioned this last time, I get a little pee shy. But I mostly get pee shy if there's too much attention on who's peeing. If it's quiet, then I clam up, everything shuts down.
What was your first experience with a trough urinal?
Would have either been, I believe,
County Fair?
Well, County Fair or drive-in movie theater.
Oh.
And it's got, okay, and also as a child, you have to remember, I'm a product of a single mother. So through most of my childhood, it would be like when I achieved the age of 7 or 8, where I was going to the bathroom by myself.
Yeah.
It's a horrifying experience to be standing as a 7-year-old at a pee trough trying to like figure
in a women's room.
Yeah, everyone else is squatting and you're the only one standing. It's like very awkward.
You face it, but their backs are to it.
But yeah, no, it's like, yeah, I remember a drive-in movie theater in particular where it was just like a very open experience, and as a young man, and I've noticed as now we're 40 and kind of don't care about anything anymore, but you've got like the 20, and I think we've talked about this in the past too, but you've got like the 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds who are basically hugging the urinal, and it's like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
It's not that small. Nobody cares if they see it.
I'm not going to try to jerk you off, all right? Just,
yeah.
Everybody, like...
Yeah, they're like very...
Oh, they're very modest. There are some very modest 20-year-olds.
It's like, if you go any further, you're going to get sucked in by the urinal when it flushes.
We have
which is incapable of happening.
We have a mutual acquaintance who only pees in the stall.
What were the initials again?
And he's proud of it. The last time I talked to him, he was like, it was still a thing, and he was still like, "Oh yeah, Dad, I'm not peeing at a urinal."
If I'm in at home, I just sit down on the toilet because I'm just like,
see, and I'm tired. I can't get.
I don't want to stand and be on my phone.
Oh, God.
Like I will go and pee sitting down, and I'll be on my phone. Erica's like, "What are you doing there?" I'm just like peeing, and she's like, "You've been in there for 10 minutes." I'm like,
your wife yells at you through the door about how long you've been in the bathroom.
she might sometimes text me and check if I'm okay, because I'm like, "Oh, I just need to go pee. I'm gonna get the boys and stuff." And then we're 40. Hey, you know what? Hey, we're 40. Anyways, there was one time in college I went to this one bar called Jerry's, and it was a Southside Irish bar. So I go in there and I go...
Southside of Champaign?
No, it was in Charleston.
Charleston.
Where Eastern is.
Got it.
So it was this place called Jerry's Pizza and Bar, and the top floor was the restaurant, and the bottom was just the bar, and it was all Southside Irish kids. And there was a bunch of kids from St. Pat's that I knew.
Southside Chicago Irish kids in Charleston. Got it. I was trying to navigate what you were talking
you walk
about.
into that bar and you're blinded in the face by light because of how white everybody is.
I was like, how come Southside Charleston is also Irish the way Southside Chicago was Irish? I was just
Here comes Conan O'Brien.
Hey, yeah, my name is Brendan Jameson. Might be a little too condescending towards the Irish.
Good.
My middle name is Patrick. Yeah, it's like I have a embarrassingly Irish.
You just got off the boat from Cork last week.
No one can understand my accent.
You still smell like corned beef and cabbage.
When I show up at Ellis Island, they're like, "How do I turn on the subtitles?"
He speaks English, but not also. So there are all these Irish kids, and they have a trough, and I had to go and use the bathroom. I was just like, they have 2 stalls in a trough. I'm like, I guess you pee in the trough. So somebody came in there, and they went to the trough. I'm like, oh, okay, they got a trough. And I'm just going to go, and the door opens up, and this guy comes in with just like this 5-gallon bucket of just ice, and he goes and pours it in there because I guess there's no flowing water and stuff like that.
I've seen ice and like shaved ice at fancy places before. Like you get a nice little like burst of coolness when you go to the bathroom. At
Is Kevin Nealon like your personal attendant from when you go to the bathroom?
Who was the other guy in that skit?
Harvey Keitel.
It was Harvey Keitel.
It's so weird because Harvey Keitel, I believe he had like a ponytail, and for some reason I would think in my mind sometimes it was Joe Pesci.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I was thinking like De Niro.
Oh, De Niro would never be caught dead doing that.
Has he ever been?
Which is so weird because all these actors that you and I remember seeing on like SNL or even late night talk shows back in the 90s, they have been gone out of the public limelight for like at least a good 15, 20 years, maybe even.
Alex, they don't even have this online.
It's one of my favorite skits on SNL too, which is it's such a throwaway one too. I love it.
I remember being like traumatized watching it because the guy like Kevin Nealon starts putting out like the folded paper for Harvey Keitel.
Just laying it out like they're like hand towels.
He's like, no, I'm good. Yeah, so
they
weird.
redo
Like
it?
they've got Indecisive Cab Driver with Harvey Keitel.
I hate that. Like they won't. Some of their stuff only goes back to like a certain
Madonna, but they've got the monologue.
Is it the official SNL YouTube channel though? Because I know their YouTube channel is really weird because they only go back.
Oh, here it is. Yep.
Yes.
I'm not gonna play it because we'll definitely get dinged for it. But like,
okay. Here's another thing. Here's my Mandela thing. I thought Kevin Nealon wore a burgundy jacket in that scene.
Oh, burgundy?
Yeah. But he's not.
He's hiding from he was putting out the paper.
It's kind of like
this is what I remember.
Yeah. Tearing off and he's lacing on the
Harvey Keitel. I love Harvey Keitel. Is a very, this sounds so Hollywood. He's a pretty brave actor. Like he did took a lot of risks in his career and did a lot of things that a lot of especially male actors weren't doing at the time. So cool dude.
Yeah. As of far, you kind of wish that he was in more stuff, but I think maybe the roles he ended up choosing to do, he was perfectly fine with.
Pretty prolific career. I mean, even if you look at, what the Piano Academy Award.
Yeah.
Film. I don't know if he won Best Actor, but
Didn't
the little girl won Best Actress.
Yeah, Anna Paquin, who ended up playing Rogue, and then she played Suki Stackhouse on True Blood, which Erica just finished binging again.
Again? She watched True Blood.
I would buy
again.
her. She owns several. I think all the first 6 seasons of True Blood I bought for her. 7th season's terrible. Just
the ending's terrible.
Yeah, that stupid like. What do they have, like a barbecue party or something?
I feel like the first 3 seasons are pretty decent.
Yeah,
and then it like most of these Showtime HBO shows.
It's like you get to a point and the writers have no idea what to do. Honestly, like I tell her still to this day, I'm like, regardless of what season it was, some of the best B stories that exist have Lafayette in them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like all the goofy weird shit that he ends up doing and stuff like that. And
I think it's the first season where it's like there's the really old vampire who decides to kill himself. Do you remember this? He's on the roof of the building.
No, I think that was season 3.
That was season 3.
Yeah, where he was he's Eric's maker.
Yeah, he's kind of like
he looks like he's like 25,
yeah,
but he's like a million years old or some shit.
Right. Anyway, I don't want to talk about True Blood.
Yeah.
It's a trashy show.
Yeah. I mean, and then you get like on the flip side, you end up having something such as like Game of Thrones where it's like after season 1, it's like don't even bother.
Don't even bother. It's all over.